What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to bring you another vacuum comparison. Only this time I thought I'd go ahead and feature this on two lightweight bagged uprights that were quite competitors back in their day. Right over on the left, we have a Hoover Platinum Collection lightweight bagged upright. And on the right, an Oreck XL Platinum, or facelifted XL21, as I like to call it, because if you think about it, the design of the Oreck XL Platinum very much resembles an XL21, except they added a lot of more modern features besides changing a little bit of the hood style better and adding LED headlights, but overall it's the same as an XL21. So what I'm going to do in this video is go over the comparison, go over and compare both vacuums. And of course I will be doing a head-to-head challenge later on in the video, because no comparison video would be complete without showing that. But anyway, let's start off with the similarities of both of these vacuums. Both are lightweight vacuums. Both come with extra large bags. Both come with dual speed motors for high and low speed. Both come with LED headlights. But there are a bit of differences. One of them being that the Hoover was actually the cheaper alternative to the Oreck. The main reason why that is because the Hoover this is the era at the time when Hoover was bought out by TTI, that Chinese manufacturer that manufactures today's Hoovers and Eurekas, Dirt Devils, even today's Orecks, believe it or not. But this vacuum came out about the same time the XL Platinum was still out. And I think that was before Oreck went under the TTI name. And anyway, let's go ahead and show you around the Hoover. This is part of their Platinum collection, meaning this has some features to make it feel like a high-end vacuum. But however, some of the Chinese cheapness does tend to show. It does have an electronic high and low speed switch, as well as a electronic power switch as well. This right here is actually a check bag indicator that lights up when the bag is full and needs to be replaced. The Oreck, however, doesn't have any of those features. In fact, it even has an old style 3-position rocker switch for high and low speed. And it's not all digital like the Hoover Platinum. So let's go ahead and show you the bags in these. Here is Hoover's Type Q bag. It's about as big as Hoover's Type A bags of the 90s. And I've put these side to side. The Type A's are about as big as these Type Q's, but the Type Q is a little bit of a narrow design than the Type A. The Type A is about as long, but it's much wider than a Q bag. But one thing a Q bag has that a Type A doesn't is this weird bag docking door. And also it has a little seal that you could pull shut, and it doesn't allow any dirt to escape back into the air. Something very similar that the Oreck has. So anyway, to put this back on, you slide it down the top like so. Make sure you have everything tucked away. And then pull the little red tab, and it'll pull the bag back and seal it onto the fill neck. Zip the outer bag up. It's very nice, rugged design on the outer bag. These right here, nice hard material. It does come with the same style on the Oreck's outer bag, but however, there's actually a plastic cage inside there that adds the rigidity for the outer bag. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and show you the inner bag. Unfortunately, the Oreck only has a single zipper compared to the dual zip like the Hoover Platinum. But let's go ahead and show you the bag inside here. This is a Hoover, oh excuse me, not a Hoover, what am I thinking? An Oreck double C style bag. This is definitely a HEPA media bag. And I'm not too sure why it's purple. I want to say this has some high-end like charcoal stuff inside the bag. I haven't really studied these, so I can't really say much. But all I know is this came in a 6-pack of bags. So yeah, you have quite a bit of bags for these. And here's how it holds in place. It actually latches on. And then when you're done, just simply pull the bag out. You will notice there is actually a little tab that sits on right here. And as you're pulling the bag out, it'll pull the seal shut. And then you can take out your bag. And there's your Type double C bag. And just while I'm at it, let's go ahead and take out the Hoover Type Q bag just to show you a little bit of size comparison. See, there you have it right here. Same similar size as the Oreck Type double C bag. You can fit a whole lot of dirt in there in both of these bags. And I do like it how both come with these automatic seals. And they do have this little rubber collar to seal the bag to the fill neck. So, however, as far as reinstallation of these bags, I think the Oreck has a much better design in reinstallation. Let's go ahead and push this little red tab back and lock it back up, seal it. So, how to put the bag on one of these Orecks. You want to make sure you tuck your lower end down in there. Then you're going to want to slide the collar up onto the little catch of the bag holder. Slide down. That little catch will lock in place. That's for the little seal. And then you just push it back up. And then eventually it'll snap into place. Just like that. And you can simply zip up your bag. It would be easier to do if I wasn't holding the camera, but then you're good to go. So yes, both vacuums have extra large bags. They're both lightweight. And let me go ahead and show you a little bit of features towards the back. As you can see, the Hoover, the rear cleaning handle, that is where you could pick the vacuum up if you so desire. The Oreck, you could do the same. However, this handle will actually fold down when you have the cord off. The Hoover's is actually fixed. It won't fold down when you take the cord off. So, let's go ahead and pull this off right here. This has a nice long 30-something foot cord. I want to say it's like 34 feet. The Hoover's cord is not in the best condition. I do need to get a replacement for. But it is pretty long. You can cover quite a bit with this. And here's the Oreck's cord. This cord is actually not the original cord when I got it. It, I think, had also a 32-foot cord. But since that one was all worn out, I actually bought this generic replacement 50-foot cord, so it is surely incredibly long. You could probably cover so much of your house without having to stop and switch plugs all the time. But as you can see, the carry handle does kind of fold away when you have the cord off. Right here is where the cord sits down, is where you plug in. Right here is actually a main cord that runs from the motor unit up the neck of the vacuum and connects right up here and wires into the power switch and everything else. The Hoover has kind of a similar design, but I do like it how this particular cord is not as exposed as the Oreck's main power cord that runs from the motor is. See, it actually runs behind the fill tube and up right up here where I think it's actually wired into the main switch, but it's not as exposed compared to the Oreck. And let me go ahead and show you the model plate numbers. Right here is the Oreck's. As you can see right here, this vacuum is made in the USA, whereas unfortunately the Hoover, being that this is a post-TTI model, is actually made in China. But you will notice the motor amperage difference. The Oreck has a 3.5 amp motor. The Hoover has a 5.5 amp motor. So yeah, the Hoover has a much bigger motor than the Oreck does. And in my opinion, I think the Hoover actually makes more power than the Oreck. But one thing I will like to point out, the Oreck does have a nice advantage over the Hoover, partially because it has a much superior brushroll design. As you can see, the Oreck uses a chevron style brushroll that funnels all the dirt into the center suction path. The Hoover is just a simple helix style brushroll, and the bottom plate is in worse for wear condition. I haven't been able to source a replacement, so this is all I'm working with for now. But the brushes on the Hoover's brushroll are much stiffer compared to the Oreck's. However, these Oreck's are fairly stiff compared to the original XL Classic style, but these brushes are very dense compared to the Hoover's. So the reason why it's nice to have dense bristles, it would definitely help for things like sand cleanup. However, the Oreck doesn't deep clean about as much as the Hoover does, because the Hoover has incredibly stiff bristles. But this Oreck doesn't really do too terrible of a job. It actually deep cleans better than its original XL. And you will notice the Hoover does have these nice side cleaning brushes. The Oreck has them too, but they're much softer than the Hoover's. And these are brand new. This is a brand new replacement brush roll. That's the Hoover's original. But one more thing I will say that does separate the Hoover from the Oreck is the Oreck has this little squeegee. However, this one's chipped away. But the reason why that squeegee is there is so it can easily vacuum hardwood floors and not scatter dirt all over the place, or from behind the vacuum, that is. But that's one thing you will instantly see that the Hoover does not have. So you can clean this or use this on a bare floor. However, any vacuum that has a constant rotating power brush, I never like to use on bare floors anyway. But the Oreck does pretty good at not scattering dirt behind the vacuum when you're using it on bare floors, because it normally would have that squeegee right there just to alleviate that. And one more thing that does separate these two is changing the belt on this. In typical Hoover fashion, you do have to remove the bottom plate just to get to the belt. But however, Oreck's, you get these little convenient little belt door that you could pop off and access your belt that way, which I think is a much more simple design than how to service the belt on a Hoover. And one last thing before I start battling these vacuums head to head is the release methods to put the vacuum in its vacuuming position are a little bit different. As you can see, the Hoover uses a traditional release pedal design that you have to press. However, I've heard stories about some people who bought this style of vacuum and they thought you just step down on the head and release it like a traditional Oreck, where you simply just step on either side and pull it back to release it into its vacuuming position. Whereas the Hoover, you have to use that release pedal, because if you try to pull back like here, you could potentially break something. But you've heard me yammer quite a bit about these vacuums, so now let's go ahead and battle them head to head and see what they pick up. All right, the battlefield is all set up. I'm using crushed up chips that have gone stale. And I'm going to put both of these vacuums to the test to see which one cleans the best. We'll go ahead and start off with the Oreck. And let's go ahead and turn this thing on. There's low speed. And here's high speed. Go ahead and check its agitation. Fairly decent agitation. Left almost nothing behind. That was the Oreck. Now here's the Hoover. Now let's go ahead and turn it on. It's got digital on-off switch. That's low speed. Here's high speed. Left nothing behind. can hear, both are pretty quiet vacuums for being that they are both direct air-based vacuums. So anyway, let's go and run them side by side to see who's louder. Here's the Hoover. Here's the Oreck. Seems the Oreck has a much quieter run to it than the Hoover. That could be the fact that the Hoover has a 2 amp bigger motor than the Oreck. I think it might even have a bigger fan chamber too. That's why, in my opinion, it looks like it outperformed the Oreck. But you decide who's the winner. So anyway, that was the comparison between the Hoover Platinum Collection bagged upright and the Oreck XL Platinum. Be sure and stay tuned. Don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.